Africa is witnessing the birth of a new ocean, which will eventually split the continent that's home to 54 countries into two separate parts. In order to better understand what this really means, we need to travel back in time. "300 million years ago, the continents and the oceans that we have today did not exist. There existed only one supercontinent called Pangaea, which made up all the landmass on Earth. There was also one massive global ocean called Panthalassa. Then, about 100 million years later, Pangaea started to break apart, creating the continents as we know them today. The division also caused Panthalassa to become separate oceans. New satellite evidence seems to suggest that this division of landmass is once again happening, only this time, it is in East Africa's Afar region, one of the hottest places on Earth. In 2005, a giant 60-kilometer crack opened up to a width of 8 meters in the Ethiopian desert. The violent split was equivalent of several hundred years of tectonic plate movement in just a few days, and it continues to expand at about 2 centimeters per year. This slow expansion of the crack will eventually tear the Afar Desert area and the Horn of Africa away from the rest of the continent, and in the process, create the world's newest ocean. The lithosphere, which is the solid outer part of the Earth, is broken up into a number of tectonic plates, or gigantic pieces of the Earth's crust and uppermost mantle. These plates are not static, but move relative to each other at varying speeds, gliding over a viscous atmosphere. Exactly what mechanisms are behind their movement is still debated, but are likely to include convection currents within the atmosphere and the forces generated at the boundaries between the plates. These forces do not simply move the plates around, they can also cause plates to rupture, forming a rift and potentially leading to a creation of new plate boundaries. Rifts are the initial stage of a continental breakup, and if successful, can lead to the formation of a new ocean basin. An example of a place on Earth where this has happened is the South Atlantic Ocean, which resulted from the breakup of South America and Africa around 138 million years ago. Ever noticed how their coastlines match like pieces of the same puzzle? The East African Rift System is an example of where this is currently happening. The East African Rift Valley stretches over 6,000 kilometers from the Gulf of Aden in the north towards Zimbabwe in the south, splitting the African plate into two unequal parts, the Somali and Nubian plates. It is an active continental rift that began millions of years ago, splitting at 7 millimeters per year. The regular eruption of volcanoes along the rift and new insights into the breakup of continent adds to the belief that the continent may be splitting to form a new ocean. East Africa is home to several visible geographical wonders that have attracted tourists to the area. These include Lake Malawi and Tanzania's Lake Tanganyika, respectively, the fourth largest freshwater and the second deepest lakes in the world. It also includes active volcanoes such as Oldonyo Lengai in Tanzania and the Dalafila and Eta Ale in Ethiopia. The Eta Ale stands out as one of the world's most active volcanoes and one of the only 8 and possibly the longest existing lava lakes in the world. Among the wonders of the region is the Victoria Microplate, one of the largest continental microplates. The Victoria Microplate is a rift branch which, along the chains of deep lakes and volcanoes, makes up the several features of the East African Rift System. In a recent study, the Victoria Microplate, which lies between the eastern and western branches of the rift, was found to be rotating counterclockwise for the last 2 years with respect to the African plate, the major tectonic plate constituting most of the African continent. This microplate was found to rotate in the opposite direction to all the other neighboring microplates in the region. This anomaly, according to scientists, may accelerate the rift's separation. While this gives researchers new insight into the splitting process of the East African Rift System, the Y-shaped at the end of the rift at the Afar region is getting more attention as to where an ocean will likely be formed if the splits continue. The Y-shaped junction is where the Nubian, Somalian and Arabian tectonic plates meet near Djibouti and Eritrea, and it is associated with active volcanoes including the Eta Ale. Researchers believe the volcanic activity in the region suggests a rift-to-ridge transition. The alredy has been erupting constantly for over 50 years, and it is believed that as it continues to erupt, a new narrow ocean basin with its mid-ocean ridge will be formed. The Arabian Plate has been moving away from Africa for the past 30 million years, which has caused the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden to form. The Somali Plate is also stretching away from the Nubian Plate along the East African Rift Valley. The three plates are spreading at different, very slow speeds. The Arabian Plate is moving away from Africa at a speed of about 2 centimeters per year, while the other two plates are separating at a rate of about 1.2 centimeters per year. Scientists are still not 100% sure about what is causing these plates to pull apart. One theory is that a massive plum of superheated rocks is rising from the mantle beneath East Africa, driving the region's continental rift. A large crack stretching several kilometers made a sudden appearance recently in southwestern Kenya. The tear, which continues to grow, caused part of the Nairobi-Narok Highway to collapse. Initially, the appearance of the crack was linked to tectonic activity along the East African Rift. But although geologists now think that this is most likely an erosional gully, questions remain as to why it was formed in the location that it did, and whether its appearance is at all connected to the ongoing East African Rift. For example, the crack could be the result of the erosion of soft soils filling up an old rift-related fault. The East African Rift is unique in that it allows us to observe different stages of rifting along its length. To the south, where the rift is young, extension rates are low and faulting occurs over a wide area. Volcanic and seismic activity are limited. Towards the Afar region, however, which is the lowest point in Africa, the entire Rift Valley floor is covered with volcanic rocks. This suggests that in this area, the lithosphere has thinned almost to the point of complete breakup. If the breakup of the lithosphere happens, a new ocean will begin forming by the solidification of magma in the space created by the broken up plates. Eventually, over a period of tens of millions of years, seafloor spreading will progress along the entire length of the rift. Since parts of the region are below sea level, the ocean, which is only cut off by a 20-meter block of land in Eritrea, will flood in, and as a result, the African continent will become smaller, and there will be a large island in the Indian Ocean composed of parts of Ethiopia and Somalia, including the Horn of Africa. Dramatic events such as sudden motorway splitting faults can give continental rifting a sense of urgency. However, rifting is a very slow process that most of the time goes about splitting Africa without anybody even noticing. There are clear signs that a new ocean is currently forming in the heart of Africa. Although it won't happen in our lifetime, but millions of years from now, the prospect of Earth having one more continent and one more ocean is something that will make our planet Earth a whole lot more interesting and fun for those who will be around then. For those of us around now, it is our duty to keep our Earth and the oceans we have right now clean and healthy to support the vast ecosystems as well as our own health and survival. Thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below. Please remember to subscribe if you're receiving any value from the channel. See you on the next video, my friends. Peace.